Hello and welcome to another episode of Writers Talk at the Daily Nebraskan. My name is Gryczanowski and I'm the managing editor. Every 2 weeks you'll hear from a reporter at the Daily Nebraskan, what they're working on, and why they do what they do so well. Today we're here with a newer face in the office who has taken on news by storm. He is a news reporter at the Daily Nebraskan. Meet Colton Knott.
Hello.
So, Colton, what is your major, year in school? Just go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I am Colton Knott, as Alex mentioned. I am a freshman in the College of Journalism and Mass Communication, where I'm a double major in journalism and broadcasting. I'm from Gretna, which is just up the road. I graduated from Gretna East High School, but I went to Gretna High for 2 years. I was the first graduating class out of Gretna East. So I mean, I got involved in journalism at Gretna East High School. I actually got involved with it my senior year, and just has loved it ever since. And that's kind of led me to the DN today.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so how long have you been working at the Daily Nebraskan now?
Yeah. So I actually ended up. During Welcome Week, I went to one of like the block parties or whatever, and I met a couple of people from the DN because, as I mentioned, I was involved in student newspaper in high school and that stuff. So I was obviously looking for that next kind of like involvement after high school. So I got involved. They told me to fill out an application, which the application got me the interview, and I interviewed with our news editor at the time, Andres Lopez, and interview went really great, and I got the job, and I've been here since the beginning of first semester, so it's been great.
Yes, this is the best. So what have you been kind of writing about in news? Like, what are the typical topics of the stories that you write?
So right now, I'm assigned to the crime beat. So that means every week I cover the crime log, which is just essentially like a weekly summary of a bunch of crimes that happened on campus the week before. It's been pretty fun. I've had big shoes to fill, taking it over from both Andres and Logan. So that's been pretty fun. Outside of that, I like to cover like a mix between like news and culture. That's kind of like my forte. Recently, I covered the ICCA quarterfinals at the Rococo Theater.
How was that?
That was so much fun. I went with Hayden Hudson, and it was super cool because I have a lot of friends in the a cappella groups, just like from not only my high school but like other high schools. Because I was involved with things like show choir and theater and all that stuff in high school, which is still a pretty big part of my life today. But so like that was fun to be able to go and watch. I felt like I was watching Pitch Perfect in real life, which was awesome. And then like my first I'd say like ever real story it was the day after we had the breaking news training, and the day after there was a protest. This was following the death of Charlie Kirk. There was a protester in the Union outside the fountain, and he had a sign up that says Charlie Kirk deserved it. And Yik Yak was going crazy, Slack was going crazy. So
it was everywhere.
It was everywhere. So I walked out of class, and like a crowd starts to gather and that stuff, and I don't see anyone from the DN there, and I was just like, shoot, I'll interview the guy, which was pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, just like local campus stuff, culture, newsy, and then crime has been the biggest thing this semester.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I covered the ICCAs my freshman year of college when I was in culture, and it was so much fun. Like, it's so cool just like seeing all the a cappella groups, and then, like I had friends in it too, so it was just a really fun experience.
When there's like 5 and UNL, which is crazy, and like I believe the top 3 were all UNL groups, with first being this year at least was Boots and Cats, second was the Red Keys, and then third was Pitch Please. So some really good.
That's
groups.
Kind of a rare thing to see.
It was there.
Boots and Cats and Red Keys in the top 2 is like, they're not really like they're great, but they're not like, I guess what you would consider the top a cappella groups on campus. Not like everyone wants to get into Pitch Please and Bathtub Dogs.
Yeah, I mean they were all like terrific and that stuff, and like I could have seen it going like any which way, but I do know that it was the Red Keys' first year ever qualifying for the ICCAs, which is semifinal. I mean they've been to the quarterfinal, but this is the first year they actually went to the semifinal. But yeah, it was super cool to like watch all that insane talent on the stage right here in UNL.
I know, it's the best. Yeah, some of the Red Keys like also work at the Daily Nebraskan.
Yes, shout out Levi.
Yes, Levi and Gavin.
Yeah.
But yeah. So circling back to like your news coverage and everything. So you just took on covering campus crime as we talked about. So what is your process with the crime log? Like, how does that work?
So I started to get trained in crime log back in first semester, and essentially Logan Mosley trained me and to take it over. And what I do to start is I have to look at the UNL Daily Fire and Crime Log. It's kind of like a comprehensive, it goes as far back as 60 days of crimes that have essentially occurred, and you have to look at all of these like incident codes and like when they occurred. And then we have this running spreadsheet where we take those like crimes and that stuff, which also it's like kind of weird because I'm like, larceny, what's that? So I've been able to like learn a lot about that throughout the process as well, like what each like code means. And the assistant police chief Martin Farragher has been very helpful with that. But yeah, so I'll put it into a spreadsheet. I hop on a call with, as I mentioned, assistant police chief Martin Farragher from UNLPD, and essentially I just ask him about this week's crimes. He's, like I said, very gracious about helping me learn as well, because by no means I cover crime, but that does not mean that I'm an expert when it comes to it. But I am learning for sure. And then from there, I take kind of I take notes and I take my transcription and I work on getting that turned around pretty quickly. On Mondays is when we publish it. And so I do the interview on Mondays, write it up on Mondays, get edits done, and then it's published by Tuesday. So yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom.
So I guess I asked Logan this question when he was on Writers Talk last semester, since he was covering the crime beat and like crime log and everything. So what has been the craziest thing you've seen recently in the crime log since you started covering it? I know there's been some crazy crimes that have been happening on campus, especially like last week too.
Yeah,
like with the fires and everything. And now like there's more crazy stuff happening. But yeah,
just in the past 2 weeks, yeah. So like last week we had the fires, and
had
then
some
this
entertaining
week,
crime logs.
Yeah, we had some for sure entertaining ones this week. I feel like I can't like. I feel like I'm too biased if I say one of my favorite ones is from this week, but there was some like wacky ones. I'd have to say like my favorite so far that I've covered is apparently a student. This was last week's crime log. A student had DoorDashed alcohol to their dorm. And yeah, they DoorDashed alcohol to our dorm. And if you don't know, obviously UNL is a dry campus, so you can't have alcohol in the on campus. And so the Uber driver came with the alcohol and brought it to the front door. And then the student didn't give the guy his identification. So the Uber guy, he took the alcohol and then like he was like, "Oh, can I see your ID?" He was like, "No," and just like walked away. So then the the Uber driver called the RA, and then the RA called police, and then police came, and he got an MA, minor in possession, for that. So that was, I just think, really funny. Marty said that this was one of the most interesting cases he'd seen in all of his years, which I thought was, that's pretty silly.
I know, like, like what makes you think that you could get away with that? I guess.
Well, and there's
especially like in the door,
like in like the front. Sorry, I just dropped my water. There's like cameras in like the lobby, so like obviously like they're gonna see you taking it from him. Like you're screwed, dude. Like
no. Especially like even if he just like it wasn't like one of those situations where like just leave it at the door and then there's just like a pack of like beers sitting out at the door. Like, I
mean, you gotta do what you gotta do in the dorms, you know, but like I don't think that like Uber is like the smartest way to do that. Like this week though, like there were some interesting ones as well, which actually 2 people got banned from Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah,
for
I
doing
saw
this.
that.
We had at the time it was an unknown fan, but now we know that the identities of the fans and that stuff. But apparently someone threw a beer at Purdue while they were having a timeout at their bench and that stuff, which was also pretty crazy to do, I feel like. I mean, I and it sucks even more that we lost that game too. But yeah, so I don't know. It's been crazy. Like, and then this week there was 2 people walking down the street with Arby's signs that they had taken from Arby's, and they got cited for theft as well. So sorry, that was not just
that'll do it. Yeah. No, yeah, there's been some, like, I've seen the crime log be, like, really boring. Like, they're like, oh, it's not worth it to write a crime log because there's nothing, like, worth reporting on. But, like, I feel like since, like, the beginning of the semester, it's just been, like, crazy stuff going down on campus.
Well, and I feel like if you get like the context, like, because it's like sometimes like I'll look at certain things and I'm like when like I'll see like disturbance or like trespassing, and then I'm like, oh, that's not going to be interesting. But like sometimes I'll look at like location and specifically like, and then like once I get the context, like that's where I actually find like the ones I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be interesting, and then it turns out to be like an actual like interesting crime. Like, why are people doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm sure like talking to Marty definitely helps with that, like getting more context on the crimes and just being able to like ask questions about.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty candid about it too.
Yeah,
like, he's like, I appreciate like you like wanting to know more, and I'm like, yeah, and because I remember when I first looked at it, like Logan showed me the process, and I was like, no way, no how, like looking at this big spreadsheet with like all these codes and that stuff. But like, you know, like I told Marty, I was like, hey, I'm looking forward to covering this with you, but like. You're gonna have to help me out, man, along the way. Like even this week, I think I asked him something, I guess like about like vandalism and that stuff and the dorms, and like I was like, well, when do they call the police? When do they not call the police and whatnot? But it's just interesting learning about like what police does and like what like the university does as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so going a little bit more like wider now, what is one of your favorite stories that you've written since joining the Daily Nebraskan? I know we talked about the Charlie Kirk breaking news story, which was pretty crazy, especially since it was so like fresh. Like you were probably like brand new to the DN, just like taking this story on. We talked about like the ICCA's crime log. What's been the best?
So I mean, Charlie Kirk, like that story was crazy. That was a great story. I really liked doing that. There was also another one about a streaker on campus that I covered.
Oh my gosh.
That one was crazy.
I forgot about that.
But like if I had to say like the one that like I truly like have like enjoyed the most covering on, it was a local Lincoln restaurant called Muchachos, and essentially during the government shutdown, which I believe was it first semester now? Right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, the days are like rolling together at this point. But yeah, so back in first semester, government shutdown, and Muchachos, which is a local Mexican Lincoln restaurant, they offered essentially free food. It was called a Snapadilla, which was just like a free quesadilla for people who had been affected by SNAP benefits being paused, which I thought was just super cool because, I mean, you know, I feel like we see a lot in like the media, like how things are going bad, and it was just nice for once to like do a story that was like, hey, like there is still good people in this world and good things are being done. And funny enough, Nick, the guy that owns Muchachos, which I'm sorry, like I got the name wrong now, but I'm pretty sure it was Nick. He was telling me that he actually knew my girlfriend's dad and they like grew up together. So like that was like a funny connection that we didn't even know about. And yeah, I mean, great guy, and their business has supported other like kind of instances. Like I know back when there was like those floods a couple years back, they provided free food and that stuff. They're a very philanthropy driven business.
Philanthropic,
as well. Yes. Yeah, I didn't know what the right word was. So
no, you got it. Yeah, that was a really great story as well, and it's such a great way to like localize national news and like show how the community is kind of like banding together and like supporting each other during things like the government shutdown.
I mean, like that's just been my favorite too. Like, I mean, just local, you know, like that we talk about that in Nebraska Nightly as well. Mike McKnight, one of the investigative reporters, he's like, local is what people are interested in. And I mean, like no shade to any like national news or anything or when people cover that. I truly do. Like, I think the people in UNL are interested in what's going on campus and the surrounding areas and that stuff. So
definitely. And it's also like you can get your national news from other outlets as well. Like people want to know what's happening in their communities or like on campus. It's super important just to like learn about. And then like especially if you're a student who knows somebody in the stories or like you recognize a face in an article, it just like gets you more excited about it because you're like, oh wait, I know that person, or like, oh, that was me in that story. Like, and it's just gonna like spread more. Like,
yeah, and like I truly do think like students love to be interviewed. Like, you know what I mean? Like even if it's like let's be real, even if it's like a bad story, sometimes like people are like, okay, like I get like the attention a little bit. But you know, like it's been very nice because like I said, like with like the ICCAs and that stuff, like I was able to interview like some of my friends and people I've known for a while, and just like how those connections kind of all like weave together, and like my career path is pretty funny. And like meeting new people has been another amazing thing that I might not get to interact with, like Nick from Muchachos or the Charlie Kirk protester. So
People always just have like such interesting stories
Right.
that I love to hear about, and it's just so great. And people are always so excited to like share about themselves and like share their stories, share what they're passionate about with the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it's
yeah.
so important. So.
Yes. That's why I love journalism.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So wrapping up, I guess, what is one thing that you think that our listeners should know about you and the Daily Nebraskan?
What should they know about me and the Daily Nebraskan? That's a great question. I feel like, like the Daily Nebraskan, you're gonna get out what you put in, and truly like don't be scared to jump in. I mean, not just like with the Daily Nebraskan, just like anything in life. Like if you're passionate about something, like really dedicate yourself to that and not be scared to go outside of your comfort zone. Like I remember I was seeing with the Charlie Kirk story, for example, like I was seeing a bunch of people gathering around this person and I was like, well, here goes nothing, because like it's that kind of experience here at the DN that's going to
just
help
putting
me
yourself
in
in
my
like
future.
uncomfortable situations that you're going to have to experience that in the future. It's so helpful.
Yeah. And also like learning how to create that like work-life balance. Cause since like outside of just the DN, I'm involved with like community theater
have a
and
lot going on.
fraternity and a job and I'm taking 18 credit hours. So like a lot of trial and error first semester and even this semester now, like just knowing when to back off, you know what I mean? Like it's great to like want to do everything, but sometimes you just can't. So like I've really tried to get better about communication and knowing, hey, like, can I actually commit to taking on the story or not? You know,
like
what I
it's
mean?
okay to say no.
Yeah. And that's the importance. I think that's something that you talked about back in. Yeah, shout out Alex for being the best Journalism 100 peer mentor. That's how we met. But yeah, I think that's just so important, like being able to like realize that while yes, you are a student journalist, you are also a student. So that's important as well.
So important.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree because I definitely had like the same issues before.
Yeah.
Like, I say yes to everything. I'm like, oh no.
Oh wait, I can't. Yeah. Because like I mean like now is the time to be saying yes to everything, but like truly at the end of the day, that's like the one thing that does kind of suck about like college, because I feel like in high school like you were able to do you were able to do everything, but I feel like college you kind of have to like like really pick and choose like what you're gonna be doing in that stuff, and I'm really happy that the Daily Nebraskan is one of those things that I've chosen to do. So. Yeah.
Yes, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
yes. Okay. All right. So, Colton, it seems that our time has run out for the week. So, thank you so much for joining me today and also allowing our audience to get to know you as a journalist.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay. So, today we heard from Colton Knott, a news reporter at the Daily Nebraskan. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Writers Talk. This has been your managing editor, Alex Gryczanowski.